You ever notice how you can be doing everything right? Reading the books and saying the affirmations, visualizing your dream life. And still just feel so anxious underneath it all. Like you're trying to convince yourself you're okay, but your body just doesn't believe you. Yeah, that's because healing doesn't really happen in your mind. It happens in your nervous system. Now you can say, I'm safe all day. But if your body's still in that fight or flight mode, it's not listening at all. In the universe, it listens to your body first, not your words. Now, I've learned, and that I didn't, and most of us don't realize this, but our bodies have been living in survival mode for years, always braced for something to go wrong, always half ready to run, even when nothing's chasing us. I've woken up tense, and you may even wake up tense sometimes. You check your phone and your chest tightens. You plan your whole day before you even had a moment to take a breath for yourself. And then you tell yourself that I'm just being responsible. I'm waking up early. I got things to do. But yeah, maybe part of it is. But that's not really all of it, is it? It sounds more like a body that doesn't really feel safe slowing down. And here's the truth no one really tells you. You can't create peace from a body that doesn't trust that it's safe to rest. You can't manifest love if your body still sees love as danger. And you most certainly can't receive abundance if your nervous system thinks that having more means having more to lose. And the real work, the deep life-changing work, is actually teaching your body what safety actually feels like. And that can be hard because most of us never knew what that was. Most of us don't even know what that is, how that feels. And you can't teach it through logic. It has to be through experience, through stillness, through breath. Because the nervous system doesn't understand words. It understands signals. It understands energy consistency. So if your mind is saying, I'm calm, but your shoulders are tight, your jaw's clenched, your breath is shallow, your body's just still hearing, we're not safe. And it's going to keep attracting situations that match that feeling. Now, here's what I've learned. When your nervous system starts to heal, everything else starts to align. You stop chasing, you stop proving, you stop forcing your way into peace. You don't need any external validation anymore because peace stops feeling like a performance and it just becomes a pulse. And that's when the world around you, everything outside of you, starts responding differently. Not because it suddenly loves you more, but because your energy finally feels safe enough to actually receive. I remember a time when I couldn't slow down. If I wasn't busy, I felt uneasy. Of course, I would be an ER nurse, right? Growing up in a chaotic household simply meant having to work somewhere that matched that frequency of my inability to sit still because that's where I felt the most safe. If things were quiet, I'd start overthinking. I thought that meant I was driven. But really, it just meant my nervous system didn't know what safety felt like without chaos. You ever realize that? How sometimes peace feels uncomfortable, like you should be doing something, like your body's waiting for the next problem just to feel normal again. That's what survival mode does. It trains you to find comfort in tension. So when stillness shows up, you don't even trust it. Healing flips that. It's when stillness stops feeling empty and starts feeling like home. And look, this isn't about being perfect or calm 24/7. Healing your nervous system isn't about never getting triggered. It's about recovering faster when you do. It's about knowing how to recognize that, oh, I'm safe now moment, even when the old panic tries to rise back to the surface. It's about teaching your body new evidence. One breath, one moment, one choice at a time. And here's something simple that changed me. I started asking my body questions instead of demanding answers from my mind. Like, what do you need right now to feel safe? Can I maybe soften somewhere? Maybe relax my shoulders? Can I breathe a little deeper before I decide what's next? I mean, you'd be surprised how wise your body is once you start listening to it instead of talking over it. Because healing, it isn't about controlling your thoughts. It's about befriending your signals. When your body finally believes you're safe, it stops reacting to the past and starts responding to the present moment. And you don't have to think your way into alignment. You have to feel your way into safety. And when safety becomes your baseline, your energy changes. And people will feel it. They'll know. They'll feel safe around you. They'll want to talk to you. Opportunities will start to flow toward that feeling. And life, it just starts organizing itself around it. Not because you forced anything, but because you stopped fighting everything. That's the real manifestation. Not vision boards, not repetition, regulation. So maybe this is your reminder. Take the deepest breath you've taken all day. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw unclench. Let your nervous system know, hey, we're safe now. This is what safety feels like nothing, and that's okay. That one moment of truth can do more for your life than hours of positive thinking. Because when the body feels safe, the field clears, the mind quiets, and life finally has room to reach you. You don't heal by thinking. You heal by feeling safe enough to stop thinking for a while. You heal when your nervous system learns the difference between danger and peace and starts choosing peace on its own. That's the work. That's the bridge. That's the freedom waiting underneath all the noise.